Guys, I get it. Stop messaging me, stop calling me, stop coming to my house. I'm gonna make another video. It's coming. Y'all just gotta be patient. Man, just getting bombarded. All right, it's been a while. I've got water in my basement. I bought a new house. I've had a lot going on. The least of my worries is making a YouTube video, but I do have a lot of cool stuff to show everybody. I have some of it packed away since we're moving, but I'll show you what I have. We'll start with the non-comic stuff first, which I know you're all here for. This is a board game called Sky Team. It's I haven't played it yet. Time is limited, but it's a two-player co-op where one person plays a pilot. Don't know if you know anything about board games, but and then another person plays the co-pilot. You roll dice, you try and make stuff happen. You have to meet certain conditions to land the plane. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I just went ahead and bought it. Picked it up for a pretty good price on eBay. My wife and I will play the occasional board game, and a co-op is perfect for us. And I think we've played Pandemic. There's other co-op games, and but this one's specifically made for only two people, and I've heard nothing but good things, so I went ahead and picked that up. All right, went to my local bookstore, and look at that, Feast of Fear. This has Terrifying Tales by H.P. Lovecraft. Those other people, I don't know. Maybe you know them. I just picked it up for the cover. I thought it was neat. What was it, $2.50? Yeah, $2.50 I paid for that. So I might read it. Add it to the pile. Found this as well. This is a popular science fiction book. I don't know, most famous science fiction novel ever written, it says. Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. Heard of it, don't know anything about it. Picked it up because it was relatively, I paid $4 for it, and it's a hardcover, so that's cool. I was excited to find these next two books. I'm going to add these to my growing collection. Paid $7 for this, and how much did I pay for this? I don't know. Oh yeah, I paid $1 from this. This is from the library. And these are both hardcovers. John Le Carre, maybe? I used to say Le Carre. I think it's Le Carre. I don't know. Le Carre. But add these to the growing collection. I've read, I think, 2 or 3 of these. Really like this movie, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Check that out. It's an awesome movie. He does spy books. If you don't know what they are, he writes spy novels. And the guy who wrote it, it's a pen name. I don't know his real name, but nobody does. Just kidding, they do. But he was in the British Secret Service, and he writes spy novels. And spy genre, one of my favorite genres. So I enjoy reading those when I can. I picked this up. I used these little cards as bookmarks. But this is, I didn't know it was going to be so thick. This is called a medallion card or something, I think. What's it say? I can't read it. Yeah, Thor medallion. So it's really cool. It's shiny, obviously, but it's a little thicker than I thought it would be. This is the JRJR interpretation of Thor from the Dan Jurgens run, which I've read a bit of, the first omnibus, and I'm enjoying it. So I thought I'd pick up a Thor card to use as my bookmark for Thor books, but I might get another one, maybe just display that, or I don't know. It's too thick. This next bunch is most of my haul from DCBS. I'll throw this up here while I'm talking. They send free books every now and then. That's the free book they sent with this order. So if you don't know DCBS, it's Discount Comic Book Service. You can basically, I don't know if you can do a pull list, you might be able to, but you can pre-order books and you can decide if you want them shipped every month, twice a month, but it's just a cool way of, you can pick, if you go to your local comic book shop. I've had them not get books for my pull list. That was annoying. You're kind of limited by the cover that you can get because not all covers are available, and they don't have every cover. There's some special incentive covers and things that might not be available through the website, but for the most part, your cover A, B, C, just your basic ones, you can go ahead and order those. There's a 35% discount. So for instance, here, I can throw this up here. I've showed this before, but I'm collecting this Sean Gordon Murphy Zorro series. I think it's a 4-set series, and this, I think this is cover A. This is number 3. I'll put that over here. And this is number 2. So they are, you do have to wait to get them. This is cool. It's like a movie poster variant. I don't know who did that one. But anyway, this is Sean Gordon Murphy who did that, and that's the cover A. But this isn't cover A, and you know, maybe your comic book shop would get that in, and maybe not. But when I compared them all to each other, I just pick what I like, what I think is the coolest. This is Joe Quesada, and it was not a cover A, so it's just neat that those are available. And what I'll do is, I've mentioned this before, is I'll usually pick up a couple single issues. I'm not a big single issue collector as for modern runs, current runs, and things like that. If it's a series, I'll go ahead and pick that up. I've been picking up the new Conan the Barbarian series from Titan Comics. I think I just pre-ordered number 12. I don't know if I'll tail off after that. Kind of undecided, because I do get collected editions, and I can read it that way. But so far, it's kind of fun to do. I've never had a pull list before, never really collected ongoing series, so it's kind of fun, it's kind of different. But like I said, this Zorro, which is awesome, it's a fantastic read. I'm really enjoying it. I've read all 3 of these. Like I said, I think it's a 4-issue series, so we're winding down on that, but it's fantastic. There's a little wrinkle. It's not, as you can see, that's minor spoilers, that it's, I don't know, maybe. Anyway, it's not, it's set in modern times. It's not, you know, your typical Don Diego de la Vega sort of thing. When was that? Don't. now I'm showing my ignorance. I don't know what century that was in. But anyway, it's updated, I guess I'll say. But it's done in a really cool way that makes sense, and it's believable, and I buy into it. And I've never read any Sean Gordon Murphy stuff. I know that his White Knight stuff is pretty highly regarded, so I figured I'd give this a try, and I'm enjoying it to the point where I want to pick up all that Batman stuff. Anyway. Okay, so with GCBS, I'll pick up a couple ongoing series, stuff that I'm interested in, and then I'll pick up a like a relatively cheap. I'll pre-order Omnibus every now and then, but like a deluxe edition or something like that, just to offset the cost of shipping, because I think shipping, is it listed on here? No, but anyway, what I was gonna say is like those Zorros. List price was $4.99, and I paid $3.24 for it. So it does offset the price, the shipping, to a certain degree, because everything is discounted through Discount Comic Book Service, DCBS. So I think it's pretty, it's a nice service that they offer, if you don't mind waiting for things, because it's mostly pre-order. Look at that. It's kind of what I was talking about. I didn't like any of the Conan covers for number 6. And I don't normally go, like, I'm not a big Scotty Young fan. This it has vibes of Scotty Young, just the whole kid thing. But I think it's funnier maybe, because it's like one of the gold books. Can you see if I can, you can tell on the edge there, it's like Skulls and Crossbones, but it looks like one of the golden book series. You know what I'm talking about, like the kids' books they have, like, my kids have them. It's like foily on the edge, but I thought that was hilarious. Little baby Conan playing in the blood. So I went ahead and chose that one. Here's a cool one. Another Conan. 6, 7, 8. Will this fit? And 9. Kind of move this one over. Anywho, I heard good things about this. I haven't started this yet. Just kind of picking them up as it goes. It's a really nice cover. I think that's Dan De La Torre cover, who does the inside art. It has a very John Buscema feel to it, so a lot of people that enjoyed the classic Conans with the Buscema art really enjoy Dan De La Torre's work, and that's him on the cover there. And like I said, I just pick up whatever cover I want. I tend to, if none of the other covers yell at me saying buy me, and I might get both, but I usually try to get the person who does the interior art. If they do a cover to it, I like to keep that consistent. But got those are really cool. I'm a Conan fan. Like I said, haven't started on these yet, but I probably will at some point. You know, I gotta pick and choose what we do, right? And continuing on that Conan run, I did read this. It was cool. The Savage Sword of Conan magazine size. They started this. Titan Comics relaunched the Savage Sword of Conan line. This is set to be a 6-issue series for Volume 1 anyway. Like the Marvel, right? I guess Warren? Warren? Who did the others? I think it's Warren. I should know, I have a bunch. Anyway, like the predecessor, the original Savage Sword put out by Marvel. Black and white. Oh yeah, that's like the worst page, but... So it's black and white interior. People were dogging a lot on the art. I didn't find it was that bad. There were a couple spots where, like I said, that big dragon, it did look like a little photoshopped kind of thing, but I think it looks fine, I thought. As far as the story goes, that kind of I thought there were a couple parts that were kind of head scratchers, but on the whole, I thought it was enjoyable. It kind of does have a little bit of the Conan. He's not in the background, but he's not the most fearsome person in the story, and that's always kind of interesting because he's Conan. Conan does sometimes kind of take a back seat to the goings-on around him in his stories. He's kind of just an adventurer, a wanderer. I saw another YouTube called him a murdering hobo, and murderous hobo, murdering hobo. Anyway, that was a funny description, but they're not totally wrong. But you know, sometimes he takes things just kind of unfold, and he does his part to stay alive, and not all the time does he get involved in this grand, bigger picture. Look at this, though. It's a little muddied, but really nice. And there's also a Solomon Kane story. That story and art by Patrick Searcher, who does great work. He has I think he had a Conan the Barbarian from Titan Comics cover. That's in here. Maybe it was I can't remember, and that's it, which I thought was really cool. I almost picked it up, and I probably should have. But Patrick Searcher did the story and art for this Patrick Kane, Solomon Kane story. First Solomon Kane I've read. Really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Really awesome art on that. But yeah, I was excited to see it. I thought it was a pretty good first issue. I'll definitely be collecting the rest. Kept me interested, and I'm excited to see more. I love a magazine format, so I was happy to see that coming. Oh, I totally skipped all this stuff with the DCBS stuff and collected editions. Here, we'll pause for a moment. Well, not really pause, but here, we'll keep going. DCBS, I also picked these up. These were a couple in with pre-ordering the Conans, pre-ordering the Zorros. Spoiler alert, I wish I had picked up a #1, but I didn't, and I'm going to pre-order the, there's a new Dick Tracy series coming out. I'm kind of excited for that. Picked up the #2. Maybe I can find the #1 along the way, but I got these really cool hardcover, these are like magazine, black label size books. There, just to compare. Oh, can't really see it, but anyway, they're same size as that. So these War Stories by Garth Ennis, Battle Action, volumes 1 and 2. I went ahead and picked those up. I started the first one, and these are cool because they have from you know, if you don't know, I shouldn't misspeak. Garth Ennis, where's he from? It's like at some point maybe it was like a Dominion. That's probably not right. I don't think he's British. He's like Scottish or something like that, right? Help me out. Anyway, he grew up on war comics. They were really big in the UK and on these Battle Action. So it gives you this information because it goes through all of these different characters. So here's Johnny Red, and it tells you kind of how Johnny Red started, how he was received, kind of what his MO was, I guess you would say. So we have Johnny Red, we have Hellman versus Glory Rider, the Sarge, Kids Rule OK, Crazy Keller, Dredger, who is like kind of like a Punisher type character, and Nina Petrova and the Angels of Death. I haven't read all of this, but I've read a handful of them. But it's just really cool because obviously, like, you don't run into these battle actions every day, but obviously if you're from the UK, there may be a little bit more prevalent, but that's, and every story has a different artist. But like I said, it gives you this background of who they are, when they started, kind of how long it ran, and what the reception was. We got some good old violence there. So there's some different art, but I enjoyed, oh, there's some more good old violence, but I enjoyed what I've read so far. But you can definitely, I've watched some YouTube videos about Garth Ennis talking about war comics and how that's what he grew up on. I guess he has a passion for it, a love for it. I don't want to speak for him, but it's definitely something that he's passionate about, I think, because the research that he does to make everything accurate, you know, I think these are definitely labors of love, and he's come out with hardcovers, collections of Battle, but these are put out by Rebellion, really well made. Highly recommend what I've got out of those so far. All right, what else have I got? Again, this is all hauls from like January till now, so this is like the first quarter of 2024. Here, let's show this. This was cool. I got this from InStockTrades.com. If you don't know about that, check it out, because they have collected editions at good prices. This is the Marvels Project. I read this in singles. I have the whole series in singles and floppies. This is by Ed Brubaker. Who does the art here? Oh, Steve Epting, who I like. Obviously, it's Brubaker and Phillips who get a lot of the accolades, but I think Steve Epting does a very nice job as well. They did Velvet together. Really enjoyed that. But this is the Marvels Project. It's kind of like the golden age of when these heroes came to be. It's a little bit of surprise, a little bit of a mystery crime novel as well. But it's got here's the Angel there, or is it just Angel? Human Torch, Subby, my fave. Even though Captain America's fantastic, but for some reason, man, the anti-hero, like before anti-heroes were a thing, he's hilarious. Anyway, this is 1 through 8. I got this from InStock. It was like mislabeled. It was under, you can find it, like if you do a search for the Marvels Project, I think it would come up as 2 different things. It wasn't damaged. It wasn't anything like that, but it was like half the price or something. I can't remember how much I paid for it off the top of my head, but they're already discounted, and it was a discount off the discount, and I enjoyed the story, so I figured I'd just go ahead and pick it up in collected edition. But if you haven't read it, read it. I got this. This is Michael, I don't know how to say your name, Michael Moreci, M-O-R-E-C-I, Morikai. It's like a kind of a young adult Dick Grayson. It's smaller trim size than your regular trade paperback, but this was literally like $3 some to there you go, graphic novels for young adults. This was $3 some to add. I've read some of it. It seems fine so far. It's definitely a little, yeah, young adult, a little CW, little teen angsty, but it's been kind of cool so far. And it obviously takes place when Dick Grayson is part of the Flying Graysons, before he becomes Nightwing or Robin, so far anyway. And anyway, this guy, another reason why I picked it up, other than the price being so low, is that is the guy who wrote, what's the name of it? Barbaric, which is really cool. It's about a barbarian with an axe that talks, that thirsts for blood. And I've read the first collection of that, and that was really cool. Went ahead and picked up this Judge Dredd City Limits, #1. This is out of print and hardish to find, so I found this on eBay for a pretty good deal, and I'm just waiting to stumble upon volume 2 for a good price. These are, Dwayne Swierczynski and whoever Nelson Daniel. And I've read the first few stories. Here I am. And they're okay stories so far. Some of them like have cliffhangers. I don't know if they'll pick up somewhere else like as I keep going, but like it'll just kind of end and you're like, oh, are we going to pick that up at some point? And so far we haven't, so I think that they're kind of one and done stories at this point, but maybe I'll cycle back and let you know. It's fine. This did happen to the binding on mine. There's a little glue. It'll be fine. Okay, take a breath. What else do we have? I didn't put my bookmark back in that Judge Dredd book. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, everybody's raving about this. I haven't read this. This is World's Finest 3 by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. And I don't know what that is. Bonvillain? Tamra Bonvillain. Anyway, people are saying this is really good. I'll let you know. As good as it's a hardcover. It's standard sized, so because it's DC and that's how they roll. But I'm imagining with the amount that people are talking about that'll get collected in a larger edition at some point. Oh, this was neat. I think this went out of print pretty quickly, or at least out of stock, I should say. This went out of stock pretty quickly on in-stock trades. I'm a big Usagi fan. I have read a little bit of the Ninja Turtles. I was born in '86, so I definitely enjoyed the Ninja Turtles when I was younger. They were a big thing, but I really didn't have any desire to get this. Saw that it went out of stock, and I was like, oh no, I have to get it. So I FOMO'd a little bit, paid. I still got it for a good price, and these are nice because how much is list price? $21.99, and I got it on Amazon. I'll just say for like $18 or something like that. It wasn't too crazy. But I was excited to pick that up and read that. These are all by Stan Sakai. That's kind of a big reason why I got it. If it were like an Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles with Usagi, maybe I wouldn't be as... I need that. Oh, speaking of, I have another collected edition upstairs that I ordered from DCBS. It's, if you know, Usagi has out like... What is it, 10? No. Yeah, I think 10 volumes of, they're not all volume 1, but kind of like his first stories with Dark Horse, I believe. And anyway, there was another one that came out. It's called Usagi Yojimbo. It's the Saga series is the series I'm talking about. There's another one that's in color. I can't remember what that one's called. But anyway, the Saga Legends, they're in black and white as they were when they first came out. And this collected edition is called Legends. It has Space Usagi and other standalone stories in it. Can't tell you anything about it other than I've read some Usagi and I'm a big fan. So I keep picking it up and I keep putting off reading all of it because how do you got no time. Am I going to read all this stuff? No. Am I going to keep buying it? Yup. All right, speaking of, I know, if you have followed me, I think maybe my last video, I'm not sure, I got an iPad, and I'm like, I'm not going to buy Omnibus anymore because the price of Omnibus, you can get an iPad and just read everything digitally, but here I am buying Omnibus. This is the Ed Brubaker, I think this is volume 2. Yeah, volume 2, because I already have volume 1. This is, I like Joe Quesada. I didn't grow up, well, I wasn't reading comic books when Joe Quesada was out. I did read Daredevil. I think that was penciled by him, the Kevin Smith run. But I have many Joe Quesada covers, and I think he's fantastic. And I enjoyed this Joe Quesada cover from Daredevil. So I went ahead and picked that one up. This is obviously the second part to Ed Brubaker's Daredevil. I had everything in a single issue. You know, I hadn't read it yet, but I sold all of those and I picked these up. It's just the size, man. Like all of these, what is this? This is 106 through 119 and 500, which is a thick book, Annual and Daredevil Blood of the Tarantula. So, you know, that many issues, and it's this thin as opposed to taking up however much of a short box or long box. So I know some people don't like, it's hardcover too because it's an omnibus. I know some people don't like reading collected editions and they prefer floppies, and I like floppies too, but especially if you're going to sit down and read, because it's like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then have a whole long box of them, and you take it out, you open it up, you read it, you put it back in the sleeve, you put it back in the box, you get the other one. It's kind of makes more sense when it's an anthology series, you know, and it's not this continuing story, and it makes sense, I think, for like modern stuff, especially. I mean, they essentially write it for trade paperback anyway. I digress. So I picked that up. I'm excited to read it. I like Daredevil. I'm a Daredevil fan, and I like Brubaker, what I've read from him, so, right? It's going to be perfect. I sold the other one of these to get this one, and the other reason I sold My other, I think it was the Super Edition. This is the Super Duper Edition. Should I say what this is? You can read. This is Super Sons Omnibus. Obviously, this is Superboy and Robin. This is John Kent and Damian Wayne. I've heard really good things about this. It's by Tomasi and Gleason, right? Or maybe, is it Jorge Jimenez? Excuse me. It's usually Patrick or Peter J. Tomasi and Gleason. But anyway, the reason I got rid of the other one, this does have more content, but it had, I'm not a fan of this baby blue. I don't know, it's like, sorry Tar Heels fans, it's like that North Carolina blue. I just can't stand that blue. I'm not a fan of it. And it had that on as the coloring on the cover, and I hated it. And it was on the spine. It was big on the spine, and they switched it on this one. So that's the main reason why I got rid of it. Once I heard that they were coming out with this, I go, cool. And I do that. If there's an omnibus that they drop that is out of print, and they say, hey, we're going to come out with this omnibus, I will sell my old one, and I will use the funds to buy the new one, because I'm a capitalist. And this one, I specifically said when I bought that iPad, I specifically mentioned this one. Another thing I don't have to show you is I'm collecting all the Thor. I like Thor. Thor is right now my guy in the Marvel Universe. And I picked up the Fraction, was it Fraction and Straczynski omnibus? But that's packed away. It's already at the other house. And but I have this one to show you. But when I talked about getting that iPad, I specifically mentioned this because these are expensive, man. But this is Jason Aaron, Thor, Volume 2. But where's the list price? It's $150. Like, you can find it in stock or Amazon. There's other places, Cheap Graphic Novels. Shoot, what's the other one everybody does? Organic Price Books. And you can get them, you know, they're relatively easily to find, 36 to 48% off. Sometimes, especially on InStockTrades.com, that first week when they release things, they'll pick a few, and they're pretty good about picking the bigger omnibus, bigger ticket items, and having them 50% off. I think any more of the Marvel stuff might be 48 instead of the 42. But it helps, especially when the thing's $150, you know. They're not cheap, and if you want a collection of them, it happens pretty quickly. The Walter Simonson Thor is coming out relatively soon, next week, from me filming this, and I'm going to pick that one up because I just decided I'm going to get all the Thor ones. Daredevil, I have a good amount, but I'll go through my my omnibus one day. But anyway, people have a lot of good things to say about this Jason Aaron Thor run. I am a Jason Aaron fan. Haven't read too much by him, but the stuff I've read, I've enjoyed. So anyway, went ahead and got that because I'm just going to try and get all the Thor omnibus that come out. And I think that's all the collected editions. And now we can go into my singles. I don't get to my shop, my LCS as often as I like. But last time I was there, I did pick up a few books. I picked up this really cool, did I not put a date on this? Here, we'll show this first. I got this neat Sergeant Rock. It's a 35 center. It's a nice Joe Kubert cover. I paid $3 for that. I like underwater covers, or they call these like Frogman covers too. And that one's pretty cool, fighting the Nazi. Joe Kubert did a lot of the DC War comics. This is from, let me see here. I don't know. I usually write these down here. I'll show this next one. I think I overpaid for this next one. It's definitely not as white as I would like, but it's in decent shape. This is, I like Nick Fury. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., number 5. This is obviously a good example, I guess you would say, maybe, of Jim Steranko and his 60s work there, 60s pop inspired things. Oh, okay, 1952. I paid $15 for that, and I get such good deals there. They always work with me on price, so I think I probably tried to get him to budge a little bit on that, and he said, no, I'm not going to. And I said, all right, I'll get it anyway. Sometimes I'll put things back, but like this book here, I think I did pay $5 for this. I think it was listed at 10, but this is a 1952. This is pretty sure this is a Russ Heath cover. It's detached. It's, you know, it is what it is. It's low grade, but for $5, 1952, nice golden age war action number 7. So got that water going down there. Taking aim. I'm a big Russ Heath fan, so you'll see some of that later. Got these guys fighting in the background, but went ahead and picked that up. They had a big war collection come in, so I've been picking stuff up as I go. I'm trying to be a little bit pickier on grade and condition, but if I don't love the cover, which I don't love, I think it's a fine cover. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty cool. Actually, I kind of like the cover now that I'm looking at it, but you know, if this were in a little bit better condition, you know, it would no longer be $5. It would be a lot more than that because it's from 1952, partly. So, you know, you got to pick your battles, and I let that one go. Pick your battles. These next books, I tend to be a little bit of an opportunistic buyer. Here, I'll show this one. I went through there. I paid $4, like if you added up everything, and that's shipped. Paid $4 for these IW. I'll just show them both. Reprints. I saw this Romantic Love number 3. It was a higher grade, and these are from. This one's a little earlier. This is from 1958, and this is 63. But I like this cover. That's a really sharp cover. I like that. These girls, they're always crying, and for some reason, crying covers I think are a thing. But I can't be the only one. The old dresses are really neat. The style that they have. I don't know what's going on in the background. Usually they're, you know, fighting over men and sad because boys love other girls and things like that, but they're pretty entertaining. Even just the covers. I think I've yet to read one. I have a handful of romance comics, but they're pretty neat. And the interiors, these are reprints, these IWs. They're reprints of earlier things. Here, let's see if we can find out. We'll look at this romantic one. And also, I'm a nurse, so that's cool. And let's see if it says what it's a reprint of. Reprinted in USA. I don't know, but there's some cool art in here. Yeah, and I paid $4 for it. For the both of them. This one was a little expensive. So I saw this one. It was a high grade. It was at least a 7.5, if not higher. And maybe it was, I don't know, a CGC, CBCS. I don't know, but I mean, it went for not much. Maybe 70 is like maybe the cost plus of getting it graded. So I saw that and I kind of looked into it maybe a little bit. They're a bit wordy, but you know, this is a nice copy. A little bit of a crease there. Non-color breaking, but the colors pop, and you know, $4 even instead of man, it could have been a 9 something. It could have been a 9 something for like $70 some, but you know, I don't love it for $70. I like it for really nice grade for $4. And this one, they came in this top loader, which I do find annoying. I kind of like them, but at the same time, they're a little annoying. And even this one, the colors are nice. I went ahead and looked at Cool Flowers up there. Went ahead and looked at you know, the rest of the listings, and went ahead and I bid. I won both of these on auction. There you go. You can slim a waist. I know you guys need that. But anyway, why are we spending so much time on these? I don't know. John, Martha. Is it Martha? Marsha? But pretty cool, you know. Definitely some neat art. Anywho, you know, your favorite artist probably did some work in romance comics. Okay. Smell nice. These next two I picked up. There's another kind of deal where it's you see one, you get one, you check to see what else you can throw in for shipping. I paid, let's just say, tax and shipping, $13 for this Our Fighting Forces number 38. 38. That's from 1958. That's a Russ Heath cover. Look at that. And this one is a really cool. I like the colors on this. Again, another Joe Kubert for what I just looked at it. 1965, and I paid $9 for that. But nothing wrong with that one. Those are both really cool. They're actually really similar now that I see that. The Nazi's got to grab a hold of the guy. They're both firing a thing. This guy's firing like a flare to let these. If you look, there's the U.S. Air Force there to circle back and fight this sub. The guy's like, "What are you doing? If they come back and sink us, you'll die." And he's like, "I don't care. I'm taking you down with me." But the colors on this I thought were really good. The blue coat really pops. For some reason, too, the war comics, they kind of leaned into this pink pink title and pinks hues for the backgrounds and stuff. And I think that's kind of interesting. But I think you can tell here it is faded a little bit. But especially his coat. His coat just looks so good with that yellow scarf, too. The colors on both of these, I think, are fantastic. Look at that. Doing what he needs to do to stop that tank. Super cool. All right. So anyway, yeah, I was excited to pick those up. What else do we have? Oh, I've been on the lookout for this. This might not be my final copy of this, but this is a hard book to find in decent grade. The seller graded this a 4.0, which I think, like, it maybe. It's not egregious, but I paid $41.60 for this book from 1952. I'm not a big Joe Maneely fan, but this is one of my more favorite Joe Maneely covers. This is War Combat. I looked it up. Is it number 4? I don't know. Not terrible. You buy a book, you kind of, but it's pretty graphic. This guy's obviously down for the count. There's Joe Maneely's signature on the barrel. Got the guys. That guy's, dead man stroke, literally. But, yeah, I really liked this cover. And let's see if I can find it. Volume 1, number 3. July number 3. But anyway, it presents pretty decently. But I think it was detached at the bottom staple or something like that. But it's also a hard book to find, what do they say, to find in grade, because obviously it's dark, so it just shows every little nick and tear. But there's no big creases on it, no big cutouts really, so obviously a little stuff up there. Like I said, $41.60. It's just you don't come by it, or I haven't come by it very often, and so I decided to kind of pop on this one when I saw it. Like I said, it might not be my final. I'm just going to get this back in here. Might not be my final copy, but for right now, I think it's a pretty cool book and pretty not too expensive either. That's my name of the game. For the most part, it's not too expensive. Oh, here, we can run through these first. These, whew. All right, buckle in. I got a run of these. I'm trying to kind of not do this, but I got 30 books here. All of them are GI Combats, but they were $1.09. So they were essentially $1, $1.10, $1 then with tax and shipping. They came out to $1.09 for all these. I like this cover. I don't love all the covers, but again, for $1, you can't go wrong. And the stories in here are usually really neat, really good. Heroism and things. That's $1.62. I'd say they're all mid-grade. They're all mid-grade. Some of them are lower, some are higher. $1.64. That one's pretty cool. So, sometimes you're like, what the heck was going on there? Like they're inside a tank on a ship in the water? I don't know. Remember that part in the A.T. movie where they were like, like in the tank going through the air, like with the parachutes? $1.69. We'll kind of go through these a little fast. I don't have too much. I like this this perspective here of him catching probably, I'd assume Jackie falling off the cliff there. But they're like, whoa. So I think Kubert did a good job on that one. 172. Here's 173. A lot of haunted tank stuff. 175. Going through a minefield. 176. Flying the Confederate flag. You know how they do. No big deal. 177. 181. I thought this one's cool too. They're hiding under the water. Oh look, they're looking in the tank form. There they are, hiding out. 183. 185. Tank ambush cover. 88. 96. Yeah, if the other Kraut tank find out they're surrendering to a dead man, we're finished. So, pretty harrowing stuff. Like, war books, like, I was all like rah-rah when I was younger. Never joined the military. But I wanted to when I was younger. I regret it a little bit. But, you know, seeing this stuff as an adult, you just have a more nuanced view of things. So they're really kind of challenging to read, because a lot of them are written in kind of that rah-rah mentality, you know, and you just look at things differently and from a different light, and take things a little bit more seriously than you did back when you were younger, when things were just great and you were, you know, using a stick for a machine gun and mowing down the enemy, and you were all, you know, you were part of the good guys, and the good guys were the good guys and the bad guys were the bad guys. There was no gray. I'm not saying the numbers anymore. I'm at 237. So they go to these $1 big books, a little thicker. That's cool there. So you get your motifs. So much firing on incoming planes. That's a big one, which I love. I'm a fan of that one. A lot of these close combat battles. Look at that guy. Something happened to him. Oh, 253. That's a good one. Close up on him. Plane coming in, shooting the other way. 251. 254. 256. I see this. I feel like I see this one a lot. Pretty cool though. What was that? 258. 261. The Mercenaries. $1.10 for these. 264. I don't think you can find them for that. Another thing I'll do too, with things like, especially kind of, let's just call them fillers. If you want, here's a 268, is I'll go on My Comic Shop and I'll look, well, how much could I get them for there? You know, and again, you don't see I don't anyway, see a lot of war books at comic book shops. Maybe they're just not wanted, so you just don't see them. And lastly, 286, we jumped up there, and this is 1986. But I think most of those are from the, what are most of these from? The 70s, the 80s? I don't even know. Let's look up this one, 237. Just a few more books after this. It's a long haul, guys, like, a lot been going on. Oh, yeah, 1982 for this 237, so 70s, 80s, mostly probably the 80s. But in pretty good condition, like I said, mid-grade, some lower, some higher. But that's all those I got. Got all that from eBay. This next one, I was excited to get. You'll see, I think the rest of these are all Russ Heath covers, and for my money, Russ Heath is the man. I've mentioned this before, and it's not a blanket statement, and you'll see why. But I honestly tend to like the Silver Age war books more than Golden Age. And we'll throw this up here. And again, not all the time, but just some of the colors that they have on the Silver Age are fantastic. But this is an Our Fighting Forces number 32 from 1958. So Russ Heath paid $43.80 for this. It's an example of the colors being really great. Need to put that in a new bag, don't I? But that red is just blazing. and I don't, not that he did it necessarily, it's got to be the colorist, right? I heard him say that the gray tone covers were really big during this time, and he didn't like them. He was not a fan of the gray tone cover, and it's honestly it's kind of what he's most known for, which is kind of upsetting, to some degree. Is here he is, and took himself as a serious artist. A lot of guys at this time had no intention of doing comic books. They wanted to be an advertisement or bigger, more prestigious jobs, and then just found themselves penciling and creating comics. But anywho, yeah, but you'll notice a trend with Russ Heath is he'll have this lighting coming in, and sometimes it's like it doesn't make sense, I don't think, and the light sources are just coming from all over the place, but just the use of he has, like, with shadow and the light, striking covers, I think. Even if you're not a fan of War Books, which he's mostly known for, he did do some other stuff, which I hope to have someday. I don't think I have any of it, but they're just striking covers. I think they're beautiful, and to a large degree. This is a GI Combat from 1964. This is number 104. I got this from Bronzeville Comics. He has a shop on eBay, and he had this for, I think this is how it went down. He had it up there. I've been on the lookout for this. This is another book that is kind of hard to find in decent grade, and that's not all torn up. And when it's torn up, I got this for $35.64. Well, let me tell you the story. So he threw these up, and he has or best price on it, as you will find on eBay. And I just watched it. I think he sent an offer after that, because if you don't know, if you're on eBay, if you watch an item, a lot of times the seller will send you an offer that's lower than the asking price. And from there, most of the times you can ask to, you can counter offer. So I counter offered maybe just once, I'm not sure, but we came to an agreement on this for like 35. Is that what I said? Yeah, $35.64 for this. And this is another kind of hard book to find. And like I said, there's a run here, these gray tone covers. Not that this is necessary. I think this has at least some aspects of it. They're like it's a wash. They did a wash over it. I can't recall the guy's name that did it, but they do this kind of like gray wash. And one reason why I got this one is because of the gloss. Like, it's just glossy. It looks nice, and I love it. There's a slew of these, and even Russ Heath calls this like Joe Kubert flames, which he tried to do. But there's a lot of these war books with flames on them, and they're amazing. I think, again, the color is just fantastic. And here we go with our pinks and purples going in on these shots fired there. And I think that they're just striking, man. I don't really know what else to say about them. And it's just a little glimpse of the insides. They have large margins, as they do in the 60s at this time. But there you go. For that one, a couple more. We go from smallest to largest here. This one, man, I was kind of surprised to get this at what I did. I think this book doesn't come up very often, and like a lot of these, when it does, it kind of goes for commands a certain degree of just commands a certain price. And I got this for $64, and got this in a nice Mylar. This is Battlefront number 26. How much should I pay for it? Or I say 64, yeah, from 1954. So this is nice 10-cent Golden Age. Do you guys count this as Golden Age? Because it conforms to the comics code. It obviously doesn't have the stamp, but it's always it's a 10-center, but as we know, that doesn't mean anything. That Fighting Forces is 10 cents, and it's got the big stamp up there. So I don't know if these are technically, if you refer to these as a Golden Age, or if they're in between. Is it, what do you call it, Platinum? Is that the middle one? Or is that the earlier one? Now I'm confused. But I don't know. But nice grade too on this. We'll go ahead and take this one out so we can really take a nice look at it. I really appreciate what it is. This one doesn't come up very often. And again, it's not perfect. There's a little bit of a spine roll, but look at that. Look at all that. Different shades, tanks. You can see the truck in the back coming in. I like precipitation covers. I like covers in the rain. I like covers in the snow. This obviously is one. Yeah, I mean, it's firmly attached, you know. Obviously, I guess it could be conserved or you know. But anyway, I just thought this was a really cool book. I first learned from some of these from, he doesn't do much posting anymore, but DS Comics. And he turned me on to this book first. I was a fan of his, the way he went about collecting. I just really enjoyed kind of hearing his philosophy on things, and he showed that, and I was like, oh wow, that's really neat. Got to get that one. This next book is the book of everything. I paid $446 for this one, so it's a definite jump up from all of the rest. It's a Russ Heath cover from 1953. Again, we're conforming to the comics code here, but if you wanted to talk about kind of undervalued books, they say that Golden Age war books are a genre that are undervalued, and I think that this book is kind of a testament to that. This really cool strangulation. I don't know, do you say cool? Striking, again, the shading, the coloring, the lighting that he has with the shadows on both of these guys' faces. It's obviously the strangulation cover. Strangulation covers are a genre in and of themselves. If this were a crime book, and if that were a pretty lady, this book would be, I don't know, a lot more than $400 some though. It does have a pretty hard reading crease in the middle of it. You don't see this one come up a lot. Excuse me. There was actually a really nice copy that came up for sale after this. It was detached. Excuse me. But that's about the only thing. But look at this. All the lighting, then the guy in the background. You know, I don't know. It's just really cool. Russ Heath cover. So I was happy to get it. Did I overpay for it? Maybe. But eventually, maybe I didn't. I guess they could all crash and be worth nothing. Here's your back cover. Get a new Daisy. Don't shoot your eye out. But yeah, I was very happy to get this one in. You don't see it a lot. It's in pretty nice condition here. And again, the coloring, the shading, the lighting, all are what I'm after in a good, especially Russ Heath war book. So that's it. That's my first quarter of 2024 haul. I got other stuff on my watch list. I'm trying to be a little bit more selective now. I'm still working on my Conan, my Savage Tales run, and my Savage Sword of Conan run. I'm still kind of have my eye on some keys, but I'm trying to be, other than that 30 book GI Combat lot, I'm trying to be a little bit more selective and getting stuff like this that, you know, I think is just really cool, that you can't necessarily just walk into your shop and get. That's the stuff that I get into. I know some people don't care about that, but it kind of turns me on knowing that this stuff is like from the 50s, and it might not be the most scarce book in the world, but you just can't walk into a shop and buy one. And, you know, I don't have a Hulk 181. I don't have a giant size X-Men one, but I don't have a Spider-Man 300, but I could get one. I could get one pretty easily. So, not that there's anything wrong with collecting those books. If those are the books you want, hey man, go get those and get the best copy you can if that's what you're into. But this is what I'm into. So, or kind of, and you know, collecting changes as you go along. I didn't start out collecting war books, but for some reason, that's kind of where I go. I'm a little bit of a hipster. So when things aren't really cool, I try and get on that train. What is the joke? I liked my coffee before it was cool. Something like that. That's how a hipster drinks their coffee, likes their coffee. I don't know, something. There's a joke in there. But, you know, and I still, and that's another thing too, is the superhero books, they just cost, man. Like, like I said, that Spider-Man 300, the Hulk 180, like there's a million of them on the census. That's not counting the raw ones, but they go, and I understand it. I get it. If I could get one for $50, I'd have one. If I could get one for $75, I'd have one. And I have a theory here. And again, it's a theory, it's not a law, but it's close. And I guess it would be like discounting Golden Age. I haven't given it too much thought, but pretty much, except your big books, any comic book you can get for $200. Because when I first started out, I didn't have a great job. I didn't have a lot to get into, so I really had to settle for some smaller books. And you know, you collect, and you're like, man, there's no way I could ever get that book. But this is a good example, and I didn't even do this on purpose. This is a book from 1958. This is the first appearance of Adam Strange. It's an awesome Gil Kane cover. It's a sweet Gil Kane cover. How much did I pay for this? $220. So almost to my point. But that is a big first appearance. What we got? Slightly brittle. It is a slightly brittle. It's missing page 5. It doesn't affect the story, but technically that's incomplete. But if you look, I mean, it does say 0.5, so I have to preface it with that. But, you know, it's all there. Cover's there, man. And it's a 0.5. And for some reason, what is it? I'm just bad. It's a long video. That's fine. For some reason, I'm surprised at the cost of this book, the price of the Showcase 17, the first appearance of Adam Strange. It surprises me how much money you'd have to pay to get this book. Here's another thing about my collecting, too, is I would rather pay $220 for this than like $800 for a 2.0 or whatever it is. Because a 2.0, in my opinion, man, that's still low grade. I know it's from 1958, but it's low grade, and I have 2.0 books. But, you know, it's that cost to condition continuum. And for me, like I said, I'd rather have this at a 2.0 here I go, for 220 than get a 2.0 for whatever it was going for. And this surprises me. And these older DC ones, and then the first appearance of Sergeant Rock. That one is also expensive for what it is. Like, who even knows who Sergeant Rock is? And it goes for that much? It's just surprising. But I'm just moving stuff around here. Don't mind my boxes in the background. But and this is another one. How much was this? First appearance of Jonah Hex. Okay, $407, but it's a 6.0. You could probably get a 3.35 for $200. And that was just my point, that you just stay in the game, collect what you like. Everybody says it, but it's true. If you just like collecting, you like collecting. And I get excited about good deals. And I do care about the value of my books. And anybody that tells you they don't, I think is a liar. If they didn't care, then they probably wouldn't care what condition it was. Or if they don't care what condition it is, I think that they're lying. Because if that's the case, they would just get any old beat up rag, and they would love it just as much because they're a soul reader. And they're better than everyone. But, you know, I do care about it. I'd like to have a nice collection. Not that anybody cares, really. I care. And I like the fact that, you know, maybe there's a chance of it going up in price. I collected and went 50-cent dive-in and dollar book dive-in for a while, and then you fill up boxes so quickly. There's no way you can read everything. I have a problem reading all this stuff as it is. And, like, what are you even doing? Like, I have 10,000 comic books. I mean, that's cool. I don't get me wrong, it's neat. It's just not for me. Like, I don't want 10,000 comic books. I'd rather have, some people only want like 10 books. They're like, I want 10 books and I want them all to be $100,000 or more. And then I would rather do that than have whatever. And that, I'm a little bit in the middle. I like what I like. I have no problem picking up really cool books for $9 or $3. And this is cool. But I might move on from some of this someday. Like this book, I don't know if I'll hold on to that for forever, but it's cool to have right now. Anyway, I don't know. I could keep talking. I should probably go. more books are on the way. Thanks for watching.